Hey Nick,
What up, buddy?
got a question for you.
Shoot.
Why does a pitcher raise one leg when they're pitching?
Why does a pitcher raise one leg when they're pitching?
Because if he raised both his legs, he'd fall down.
Uh,
We don't have it yet. Hello and welcome to our April 14th episode of We Don't Have It Yet. I am Wyatt. This is Nick. Say hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, we've got some fun stuff for you today, I think. Both of us have got some baseball games we've either attended or are going to. I may have purchased a 3D printer that I have printed very important things with. We've both watched some movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of us forgot to do something that we discussed literally the day before. Limited Run is coming out with a new old game that is absolutely stupid, and we've got our backlog Buster Brothers, which everyone's excited to hear about. So, Nick, let's talk about baseball. Everyone's favorite topic. I hear you actually got to take the kid out to a game.
Yeah, man. Here in Chi-Town, my Orioles were in town playing the White Sox last week, and it's the only series this year.
Wow.
So if we were gonna do it, we had to do it. So yeah, I figured why not? Pulled up tickets for Wednesday, and you get lower level concourse seats for $14 a piece. I can't complain about that.
That's baseball.
Yeah, man. God knows what it costs to go to Wrigley these days, but
Yeah.
last time I went, it was extraordinarily expensive. But yeah, yanked him out of school after lunch and said, "Come on, we're going to see the demos." And my wife left work early, and it was awesome. Went down to Guaranteed Rate Field and watched the Orioles beat up on the White Sox. I gotta just compliment that team, not the team itself because they're pretty terrible, but whatever organization, crew, what have you, that runs that stadium, full kudos from me. What a great game day experience, man. So, not only the stands, besides the area around the Orioles dugout, were pretty sparse. Like, not a very well attended game. A lot of out of towners visiting. Because, the White Sox have opened horribly, obviously. And it was a
Surprise.
Wednesday. It was a 1 o'clock Wednesday game, for God's sake. So, how attended was it really going to be? But having said that, every vendor stand was open and staffed. I mean, staffed. It feels like everywhere you go these days, everywhere is running on a skeleton crew.
Yep.
But I don't know what the White Sox are doing. They have beer and vendor sales going up and down every single aisle. Every single stand is open, and there are people working it and cooking and doing stuff. And they seem to be doing that regardless of attendance, because that's the cost of doing business. And you know what? I salute them. And I was even in the middle of saying it to my wife and kid as we were walking around the concourse from getting more food. And a guy stopped us because I guess we were wearing Orioles gear and said, like, "Hey, thank you so much for coming. I hope you're enjoying it. How were you finding the stadium and everything?" And somebody cares over there, despite the overall poor performance of their team. But somebody actually seems to care, and I will definitely go to more White Sox games as time goes on, regardless of whether the Orioles are in town or not, because that's just that's a good game day experience, and the food's pretty damn good too. They
I
got
was
some
gonna
cool
say, didn't
stuff.
you get something there?
Oh God, we got a bunch of stuff. Maybe you can help remind me, but
Oh God, my memory's worse than yours. I just know there was something you said you got that you were excited to talk about, and that's
oh
about
yeah.
all I remember.
Well, no, I got so there was a pork belly arepa burger,
Ah,
which
yes.
wasn't really a burger, but it
They
was
tried.
it was pork belly between two cheese stuffed arepas with like pickled uh, red onion. That was super good. Got a foot long dog with a spicy pineapple relish. My wife got that. The pineapple stuff isn't my favorite with the savory. I know we have differing opinions on that, But that was actually pretty good because it had a nice kick to it. God, my son got nachos and a mini helmet sundae, and we
Got to
just
get
kind
one
of
of
went.
those.
Yeah, we just kind of went for it because
14
we
bucks, you might as well.
exactly. We said it costs us $14 to sit here. We don't come to a lot of games. Like, go for it if you want food. And yeah, needless to say, we didn't eat dinner that night, but it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's one thing I wish I would have thought about it when I was reading it. I was reading an article this morning, actually, about the death of the cheap seats in professional sports.
Yeah,
How
no kidding.
basically most stadiums have gotten rid of the upper tier seats and they've found ways to stuff more people into lower bowl seating, which has unsurprisingly caused fewer people to be able to attend live
Yeah,
games. You used
yeah.
to be able to. I remember when I was, I don't know, maybe somewhat in middle school, we used to do trips down to the Boston Garden to see the Celtics,
Hmm.
and it would be like nosebleed seats, but it was what, $7 a piece
Yeah,
to
but
be
you
able
could
to
get
go
in
and
and
watch the
experience it.
Celtics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But they used to the Orioles, Camden Yards was Friday nights. If you had a student ID of any kind, tickets were $5 for upper deck. Perfect. Perfect. So I would go with groups of college friends and, get shit faced in the stands and sit in the upper deck and watch baseball on Friday nights. And it was a great time and likely the only way that they were going to bring us in and get our beer money.
exactly. Like that's the thing is, obviously, with the rise of salaries, with the rise in the cost of everything, teams are trying to take money wherever they can. But same thing, exactly what you and your family did. You guys got cheap tickets, so in your head you go, "We just saved a bunch of money on these tickets.
Much
Why don't
more
we enjoy
inclined.
the food
Yeah,
that is
much
around
more
here?"
inclined to use vending when if I went to the Cubs game and be like, well, yeah, I'm not going to pay $12 for a hot dog.
Yeah,
They already got me for $200 just for this seat. Screw them.
yeah, I think oh gosh, I probably already mentioned it before because we had recorded since then, but John and I going to the athletics game next month. Yeah, next month. Just
All you
about a
can eat
month from
hot
now.
dogs.
Yeah, all you can eat, hot dogs, nachos, Cracker Jacks, drinks. And I mean those tickets cost, I think it was 90 something bucks it cost me, or no, 110 maybe. That was
Hmm.
also resale value, so I'm not sure what those actual tickets would cost, you know, first hands, but they surprisingly didn't have them for a what, 11:05 start. I think that game's going to be on a Thursday. But no, it's just stuff like that. Like the Savannah Bananas down in Savannah, and we talked about this before, that they have an all-in price. You pay like $35 for a ticket, and that includes all you can eat and all you can drink.
Yeah, that's
Like
great.
that's how you get people back into live baseball, live sports is, do that. I know when I lived out in Colorado, I had season tickets to the Rockies, but a couple times that I didn't sit in our actual seats out in left field, they have the Rockies have called the rock pile seats, which are these
Hmm.
seats behind the fence in center field that are like way high up and they're just fun seats, but they're like $4 a piece to go see. I mean, the Rockies are kind of a major league team, but but it's such a cool experience to go sit up that high. They're just terrible bleacher seats, but you and three or four buddies can go to a Rockies game for under $20. And not that I drink beer, but Coors I think has the cheapest beer prices out of all the stadiums, which is unsurprising. But I think it's like $3.25 for a beer.
Not gonna beat
Like,
that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Uh,
It's just
but
it's frustrating because it's I mean, it just speaks to a larger, enshittification and things getting more and more expensive, but also the elimination of third places. Like there
uh
are
huh.
so many limited opportunities for a family of three like mine, or a group of college buddies, or just regular friends. I don't know, to be able to say, let's meet here and hang out and just spend time with one another without a significant bill being attached.
Yeah, that's 100% why I love the pinball place, Capital Pinball,
Yeah.
because it is a new third space basically, and there are
Mhm.
so many people that show up and are just amazed, like people that are showing up for the first time that have either seen us, or seen a, I don't know, an ad or something. They pop in and like, holy crap, like you're not, aside from paying the $15 to have, essentially a day pass to play
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want, like you're not nickel and diming us to do anything. Like we have, a small little water cooler. You can get some, water. We've got like hot cocoa or tea, little coffee things, and then just, little fun sized candies and stuff that you can just go ahead and grab. It's literally just a space to hang out.
Yep.
And it's so cool seeing, I host once a week, seeing just random friends that'll show up and be like, holy crap, we can just go sit at this table over here and pull a board game off the wall and play whatever we want. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go to a bar and, start a tab and
I don't have to
buy
upgrade to
beers
the
and
premium membership in order to be able to do that.
yeah, wow. This is wild. Yeah, there was one person that came in last week that they came in, they're like, "Oh, I want to play pinball." And then they noticed we had the MAME arcade machine, and then we had, the different just regular systems and stuff. I'm like, "Oh, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to pay to do that?" I'm like, "You did.
Yeah.
Like just go have fun. You did it." And it's just there's so few spaces to do that anymore.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for, I think, what you mentioned with the bananas. If you're much more likely to get me on board if I know that I can take the family out for a Saturday and it's going to cost me all told $100,
Yeah.
whatever. But I know going into it, kid's going to be fed, happy, go to the event, everything is included. I'm spending $100. Not spending $100 and then
Hmm.
expecting to get bent over for another $200 once I cross the gates.
Yeah,
Eh,
that's
So much of everything is, well, now that you're in the park, we can really
mm-hmm.
reach into your pocket.
You want a $10 Fenway Frank?
Or, I mean, it's just anywhere. It's just
Oh, I know. Yeah.
how much can we bleed you while we have you here?
Well, what was
Amusement
it?
parks, baseball games, any public event, it seems like these days.
Was it sometime last year? I think it was the CEO of Ticketmaster that said it should be seen as a badge of honor for ticket prices to be so expensive, so people can be like, "Look how much money I had to spend
Yeah,
to go to." Like, it's a status symbol to be able
but
to
they're
go.
right. They're right. That's
But it shouldn't
but
be. That's the
it should
thing
not
that's
be.
so stupid.
It absolutely should not be. But people are doing it, and I can't sign off on it. I wouldn't do it. If all of my rock icons came out of the grave tomorrow when we're playing a stadium show and it was as expensive as Taylor Swift tickets, I'd be like, I can't justify the cost, but people keep paying it. And so long as people keep paying it,
Yep.
but I mean, it's not like, you brought up Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, Live Nation are a complete and total industry monopoly. They own every single thing from the tickets up to the
The
venues
venues.
and
Yeah.
everything in between, and are now at the point where they're taking a cut of artist merch sales and things like that. Not to mention the ticket resale system. So
Yeah, they literally go in and they scalp their own tickets to
they sell their
themselves.
own tickets, but if I get screwed over both ways. So if I buy
Yep.
a ticket to an event from Ticketmaster and I can't use that ticket, and then I want to sell that ticket to someone
Yep.
else on their marketplace, I have to pay them fees again
Yep.
for the right to sell the fucking thing.
It's
Sorry, I guess we're going
uh
explicit, totally
very
explicit
early.
this
That's
week.
okay. I think that was warranted. That was a that was some warranted profanity there because it's just so stupid. I mean, when I was in college, my buddies and I it was called Meadowbrook at the time over in Guilford. I can't think of what it's called now, but we would go. I went and saw the Allman Brothers. I went and saw the Doobie Brothers, like for $5 for lawn seats.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
And now
that doesn't
lawn
exist
seats.
anymore.
Yeah, I went and saw the same venue, lawn seats for God, I can't even remember who it was. It was someone, I think it was John Mulaney, the comedian. Lawn
Mhm.
seats for a comedian, and I think they were over $100. I'm like,
Comedians must be absolutely. I mean, it's a very limited group that can tour those types of
yeah,
venues, but the ones that are, I mean, they have no overhead. But
no,
travel, and they have to have a microphone on
and they
stage.
talk.
Like, yeah, it's not like they have 18 wheelers hauling their stage setup to the next town. Maybe
No,
some of the really big guys have stage setups. I don't know, but yeah, they just have to be printing money. And I like John Mulaney, but if he's selling $100 yard tickets, he knows that he's doing that to an extent.
oh yeah, yeah. They
So
they they know.
he can get
It's
bent.
yeah. I don't know. It obviously I did not buy those tickets, but I was excited because it was somewhat close. I mean, Meadowbrook is it's close enough to my house and it's not like in downtown Boston. It's out in a rural area, so it's easy to get into, easy to get out of, not that far from home. Like if I can see shows there, I love going there because like I said, it's
Convenient.
very easy to
Yeah.
navigate, but it's I can't justify doing that. I spent more too much money to get myself and my buddy and Caitlin tickets to go see Weird Al at Meadowbrook this summer
Hmm.
because he's I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he still puts on such a fun show.
I've only heard tales of, and that's a bucket list item. I got to start working on the kid getting into Weird Al, so maybe we could go together. But his band is famously one of the most talented groups of
Yeah,
musicians on the planet and can play literally anything.
because they have to with all of Weird
Yeah,
Al's like they literally have to be able to play every genre.
that's
Like
true. Yeah, you got to go from Nirvana to Michael Jackson pretty quick
yeah,
there.
they it's so I think we're going in July, middle of July, I believe, and it's gonna be a blast. This will be my fourth time I think seeing him. He's one of the few people that I can't remember what the tickets cost. I'm sure they were too much money, but like there's you can correct me if I'm wrong, but once Weird Al's gone, there's no other up and coming Weird Al. Like
I mean, there's a billion. There's
but
every
but but
other
Weird
YouTuber,
Al.
but there will never be another Weird Al.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like there are other parody musicians,
Hmm.
but that have reached the notoriety and fame of Weird Al that is going to be able to command, the groups that he's still able to at 60 plus years old. He's been around for what, over 40 years at this point.
Oh yeah.
Like it, I don't know. It like once he's gone, yeah, sure. You've got the YouTube parodies. You've got the people. You've got still talented people. I'm not going to say there aren't other talented people out there, but I just think that he has spanned so many generations that I don't know if you're going to see another parody artist be able to do that.
No, you won't. And he was right place, right time. And he's as humble a guy as there is on the planet and has fully admitted, like, look, I change words in popular
Yeah,
songs. It's not
exactly.
rocket science. But it's the fact that he is an incredibly intelligent man with a strong musical and educational background
Yeah.
that gives him that staying power. He's a decent, likable human that is affable to his audience. That makes a huge difference. And it's now generational, intergenerational, parents taking their kids and now probably grandkids, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Um,
Every show I go to, you see kids that are 8, 9 years old to people that are probably in their mid to late 70s. It's so wild seeing these
it's awesome.
spread.
It's
Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
it's such a cool thing to be like. That's what I'm saying. Like his appeal is so massively broad. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because he's just a universally likable dude. And like you said, like anybody can just change the words to popular
Yeah,
songs, but not everybody can write like UHF and the Weird Al show
yeah.
and however many hours and hours of skit humor that the guy has done that's all original and brilliant. And he works clean too. God, I couldn't
That's the
fucking do
wild.
that.
Yeah, I'm working on you. It's not taken. But anyway, I think we got a little off track there, which is okay
Always.
because anytime we can talk about Weird Al, I'm all for it. Baseball and Weird Al, that's my
Jeez,
wheelhouse.
how do they not go together?
Yeah, but I'm actually going to Fisher Cats game tomorrow morning. I took the day off from work, so the Fisher Cats are playing an 11 a.m. game. So I've got front row right behind the home plate seats. I think it cost me $18,
Very
and
good.
yeah, I'm sure there will be maybe 800 people at the stadium. I mean, it's a Wednesday 11 a.m. game, so
Sounds like my kind of
that's
crowd.
oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm hoping that at least half of the stands are open so I can at least get some stupid food, but I'm not gonna hold my hold out. I'm not gonna have my hopes too high, but yeah, it'll be good. This will be my first live game since I saw the Bananas in Fenway last year. So
Nice.
yeah,
So I'm sure it
it's
will not be your last of the season.
no, I've got 3 Bananas games I'm going to in June. So, but I mean, they're playing right up the road for the same place that the Fisher Cats play. They're coming for a 3 game set in June. So I mean, it's 10, maybe 15 minutes from my house. So
And
gotta
that's
hit it,
the
right?
the what Fisher Cats?
The New Hampshire Fisher Cats.
Just New Hampshire. Got it.
Yeah, because we're small enough that Although Tuesdays they play as the Manchester Chicken Tenders, so
Love that even better. Why are you not going to a Tenders game? Or
because
excuse,
that's
did they?
today and it's at 6 o'clock, and I have to go host video game night tonight. I
Ah.
know, always getting in my way, right?
Like we just came off a segment where you're praising how you love running it. Sorry.
I do. I'm just
I know you do.
taking the piss out of it. But I hear you had a very big life event yesterday.
Did I? Oh yeah.
I mean, I would say it is.
Yeah, I'm English again, man.
Tell everyone what you mean by again.
So yeah, for anybody that doesn't know me or my backstory, I was born here in the U.S. to British parents who are not U.S. citizens. They later became U.S. citizens when I was a kid. So I was a dual citizen for the U.S. and the U.K. my whole life, up until around 2009, 2010, when I started contract work for the U.S. government and required a clearance and had to renounce my foreign allegiance, as it were.
League.
In more recent years, I kind of self-inflicted blew up part of my career in 2022 because I was not happy with what I was doing, and it was at that point that I decided I was probably done with that type of work and wanted to get piece of my heritage back. So once again, after about a year application process, I was sworn in, back in, as a British citizen at the consulate yesterday in downtown Chicago. So that was cool.
Congratulations, Governor.
Yeah.
You got to tell me.
Yeah.
You told me that there was going to be light refreshments there. What was the spread like?
I was actually greeted by a very nice lady at the door who was wearing a Union Jack skirt and jacket
That's
combo,
awesome.
which was pretty damn cool. And then, yeah, she very kindly offered me a cup of tea and biscuits, and yeah, they had shortbread cookies and a full spread of different teas. So very on point, I thought.
I appreciate that. I'm happy for you. That's really cool that you're finally able to get that taken care of. I know when we were down at the convention last year, as we obviously roomed together always, you were fretting quite a bit about the whole process. So I'm happy to see that you
Yeah, a lot,
had
lot
a
of
happy ending.
roadblocks. A lot of roadblocks along the way. Well, mine was a fairly unique situation, so I had to prove like why I had, had it and lost it and all
Yeah.
this stuff. But it's done now, and it was kind of interesting. It was amusingly, the whole thing was led by a Glaswegian gentleman who had a very strong Scottish accent. So I was kind of giggling, looking around the room as I caught people trying to process what the part they were about to have to repeat was, because they couldn't totally
Yep.
understand his accent. But he said that they usually do about 30 to 40 of these a year at the Chicago office. And this year it was going to be approaching 1,000.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
A
And
thousand?
he's like, you can probably do the math on your own why so many people are coming out of the woodwork wanting to recapture their British heritage, but I certainly don't know anything. Tee hee hee. Large laugh throughout the room. And
Yeah.
yeah, bit of a nod and a wink when mentioning the special relationship between the US and the UK at the moment.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't need to get too into it because
Yes, London.
everybody knows
You know,
exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of playing off of that.
yes, yes, London.
How many? I'll shut up so you can play that drop if you really want to
No, I was trying to get some Dennis Farina in and I screwed up. But no, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, I know we talked about it a little before, but kind of going along with your English heritage is I found out a few months ago that I actually now qualify for Canadian citizenship. So I've kind of been taking the steps towards gaining that, so I could also be a dual citizen.
Is that through paternal grandparent lineage or something similar?
Yeah, so I believe back in December, Canada changed their birthright citizenship laws, where before it needed to be your direct parent had
Mm-hmm.
to be born in Canada and then it would go from that way. The lineage is kind of changed, so it goes back, I believe, to your great grandparents. If you have great grandparents that were born in Canada, then anyone below them, so that means my grandmother, who has since passed, is automatically a Canadian citizen, which means that my dad was a Canadian citizen because his mother became one, which means since my dad is a Canadian citizen, I am. So I technically am. I've already been quote unquote like grandfathered in as a Canadian citizen, but to get get the paperwork and get my actual
You
be a
would still
card
have to be
carrying citizen.
naturalized.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a process. Thankfully, I've got a couple people in my family who have done like meticulous genealogy. So I just need to kind
Oh,
of take
nice.
the time to sit down with them, get the marriage records, get the birth certificates. I actually got to talk to my dad because he had to talk to him a little bit about it and he sounded interested in it. And it would actually make my life a lot easier if he did it, because if he goes ahead and does it, then
Yep.
I don't have to do any of the paperwork at that point. So,
Or pay the application fees, hopefully.
correct. Yeah. So, it'll be kind of exciting. Just, it'd be nice to be able to, I live 3 hours from Canada. It'd be nice to just be able to go up, flash, my Canadian passport and be gone.
Yeah, I
Never to be
guess the
seen again.
whole frequent traveler card thing is kind of, I don't know if it's suspended or what the hell's going on there, but needless to say, running over the border for the day probably isn't as simple as it once was.
No, you still up in northern New Hampshire. You can still do it accidentally, though. You still sure can.
Oh, you
There,
can just take the wrong side street and end
oh
up
yeah,
in
yep. And then
Canada.
you're like, oh crap.
What's that Tim Hortons doing there? Where
Yeah,
am I?
exactly. Why does healthcare seem free? Uh, but yeah, so that's kind of fun. It's a very big process, and I'm
I
sure
can
we could
vouch.
talk about this in 6 months, and I may not even be that much closer because it takes a lot of uh, doing.
Oh yeah,
That-
from starting the process till yesterday was probably almost 18 months.
Dang.
I mean, it was
Speaking,
a lot of, snail mail back and forth stuff there.
yeah, you had to do a lot of obviously certified mail, right?
Yeah, I had to produce like original copies of my parents' birth certificates from the 40s and then like my grandfather's war records and all this stuff. So it was quite in depth.
But I'm sure it gave you a better appreciation of your lineage having to dig through all of it
I
and
did actually
look
learn
at
some
it.
stuff that I had no idea that was actually really interesting. That
Hopefully
I,
good stuff, because sometimes you can learn some bad stuff about your
yes,
family when
yes,
you
yeah. Didn't find any stuff that had been swept under the rug by the
find
family
out that
back
you
in
got
the
a couple
day.
siblings that a couple
Yeah,
of
no surprises like that thus far, but yeah, just some neat details.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so maybe in the next year or so we'll be your favorite podcast by dual citizens of the United States. And probably not even so, because I'm sure there are plenty of podcasts out there with dual citizens.
I was gonna say, I don't think finding a Britain American combo or Canadian American's terribly difficult, but we like to think of ourselves as special
But we
anyway.
could still be someone's favorite, and just because we don't have to be the only ones. We could be someone's favorite.
I don't know how you're gonna transition us out of this topic.
Oh, it's very easy because you know how we are possibly both going to be dual citizens, right?
Yes.
But we're all citizens of Earth. And you know where Earth is
Ah!
contained?
In space,
Which, have you heard of the Milky Way galaxy?
I have.
And you know how Milky Way is a candy, right?
It is.
And you know how sometimes you go and see a movie and you have candy at a movie?
I do.
Well, here's the thing. There's a movie called Super Mario Galaxy that just came out, and I hear that you might have gone and seen it. And maybe not gone and seen it, but I hear you saw it.
No, I saw it with the boy. Yeah.
There,
There was
that's
no
an
way
A plus transition.
that
Give me-
was an
give me
A
my
plus
credit.
transition. I'm smiling. Yeah, so there was no way I was getting around it. Yeah, took kiddo to see Mario 2, and I actually rather enjoyed the first one. I thought it was fine for what it
I
needed
still
to
haven't
be.
seen it.
You're not missing a whole ton.
I've got it on 4K Blu-ray, and I've been meaning to watch it, and I've never watched it.
It's reasonably entertaining. Um,
I just don't want Chris Pratt. If there could have been Danny DeVito as Mario.
God, he sucks so much. So the Mario Galaxy movie is the sequel to the 2023 animated feature and seems to be where Nintendo is putting the bulk of their concentration these days. I thought it sucked, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
There's not much in the way of story. There's certainly not much in the way of characters. Um, Everything feels designed like just to get us to the next set piece full of Easter eggs. And, if you want to seal clap at things you recognize from Nintendo, this has got that in spades all day. But otherwise, there ain't much here to grab onto. It was so low effort. There's, like I said, very minimal actual story to the whole thing. And other than a few times where I kind of want to maybe went, there's not a lot of heart to it either. Everybody's, okay, I guess. Chris Pratt as Mario doesn't give a shit about anything to do with wanting to be that character or anything. I don't know. Even Charlie Day doesn't feel right to me, even though I love Charlie Day to death.
It seems like they just picked. It was like we need to get big name. We need
We need
to do an
names.
animated
Yeah.
movie for the
We need
kids,
names.
but we need to get big names so we can try and make parents.
I have not a single shred of doubt in my mind that this group of people haven't been together since the last time they were promoting the first Mario movie, and I promise they spent more time on the road promoting the movie than they did working on it. There's no doubt. It's I don't know. I guess there were parts that were fine. Like they fold in a lot of the stuff from Mario 2, which is kind of fun. With Birdo and
Yeah, I
the
did
Rat
see
King and all that stuff.
yeah,
I
the
guess that's
poster
fun.
with them on it.
Yeah. But they don't do a whole lot with it. It's basically trying to jam as many different set pieces and reference pieces from the Mario universe down your throat as quickly as possible, and it feels like it's cut for a generation of kids that can only attach their brains to things for 30 seconds at a time. That's how the entire movie feels. It's just thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and credits.
Like I said, I haven't seen the first one. Was the first one a little more coherent? Like, was an actual
The
story
first one
told instead
had
of just
some of that.
vignettes?
The first one had some of that. There were definitely, here's an excuse to take us into the Mario Kart part. But it felt right, and it wasn't forced as much. And it was also being used as an introduction to this whole new world, and you're doing world building, and these are the laws of what exists in the Mario movie universe, or here's what all these characters are for people that might not be as familiar. There's, building blocks in the first movie, and all they did in this one was stack bigger blocks on top, and we're going into space for some reason.
So
Yeah.
I heard that Fox McCloud shows up. Do you think they're trying to do like are they going in the direction of maybe a Super Smash Brothers,
yes,
or are they just trying
100%.
Really?
100%. We are building we are using a Marvel formula,
Yeah.
building out all of the movies that will build into a Smash movie without question. That's what they're doing.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen either of the movies, so I guess I can't really judge anything. But not everything needs to be the Marvel thing. It hit at the right time. The original build into the Avengers movie was amazing. I thought it was great. I have fallen off of it since then. I don't really care anymore. Like at this point where it becomes homework, where you have to watch 12 TV shows and then these 7 movies over
I'm
here.
not doing all the Disney Plus crap and all that. No, they did Thanos, and that was awesome. It was.
Yeah.
It was great.
And that was a build through how many years was that? That started maybe
better part of a decade, wasn't it?
2006,
Yeah,
I think. And then the last one, I think Caitlin and I saw the last 2, the Endgame, Infinity, or whatever it was, the Endgame, I think came out maybe 2018, 2019, maybe.
it was getting into COVID time there.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
close.
it took like
2020
13
maybe.
years to tell that story. And
Yep.
you see the DC universe. Zack Snyder tried,
Well, they tried to
basically
speedrun it.
jump starting that. Yeah, they tried doing it in the span of like 3 movies. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna do all these movies and then do the Justice League." And I think they ended up doing 2. And they're like, "Okay, yeah, we're just gonna do Justice League now, and then we could do
Well,
the
they
other
wanted
stuff
to play
after."
catch up and be right into the printing of infinity money kind of
Yeah,
thing.
which, like I said, like you have to catch people at the right time. It has to be the right thing, and I think seeing that, like the original, not really original, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe that played through Endgame, like that was a huge build. Like that, I don't know, that just. I want to say it's a once in a lifetime thing, but there was such specific circumstances, especially since I mean, maybe I'm just dumb, but I didn't know until maybe like the first Avengers movie. Like, I didn't know that, Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk and Thor, like, I guess the end credits, I guess you could say, when Nick Fury comes in, like, I got this or that, but I don't know. I feel like it wasn't really rammed down your throat like every
No.
other attempt to create an extended universe has been.
Well, they were kind of the ones first doing it.
Yeah.
Not ever, but at that time, and especially in the superhero realm. I was listening to another podcast recently. I think it was Stabby's actually, Baltimore boy. But he brought up an interesting point, and everybody knows that superhero fatigue is a thing in the movies. But do you think superhero as a genre will be looked at like westerns were, where Hollywood got to a point where that's all they were churning out at one point, was they were just making westerns, to the point where it killed the genre pretty much. And it wasn't until years later, decades later, that Clint Eastwood comes along and does like an Unforgiven
Yep.
that revitalizes the genre. And do you think we'll have a long break just because we've had just an overflow of content, a fire hose of content?
I mean, maybe eventually, but you got to realize we're playing with Disney money at this point.
Yeah, and that's the big
So,
difference.
yeah, like they can just keep churning this crap out forever. I mean, eventually maybe they'll see the writing on the wall and say, "Okay, maybe the return on investment isn't here," but I still think that there are enough people out there now that you're not really going to see a loss. But maybe in the
Somebody's still
next
going to
10
see these
years.
fucking Avatar movies. I don't know who they are, but somebody is.
Yeah. Oh God. Speaking of Avatar, no, there's no transition here. I just don't want to talk about Avatar. But we actually both separately and not even discussing it saw Project Hail Mary this past week.
We did.
I saw it in the theater. I believe you saw it from the comfort of your house, but we
I
both.
wouldn't admit to anything like that because that would
Oh no, I
involve
was just saying
certain
that you,
things. I
you
don't
could
know.
see a movie theater from your house. You
We'll go
could
with that.
see the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
There's no nothing
Yes.
nefarious going on
No,
in
we
this
both
podcast.
saw Project Hail Mary. Did you read the book?
I did not
Okay.
read
Okay,
the
neither
book.
did I. I wanted to just clear the air there first, just because
No,
I had no impressions going in.
Yeah, surprisingly, I did not. I read Andy Weir's The Martian, which is the book I believe he wrote before this, and
Yep.
I enjoyed that book. But the funny thing is, I have not seen the movie. I've read The Martian, haven't seen the movie. I've now seen Project Hail Mary, haven't read the book.
Oh, you just got more to explore.
Yeah, I'm a very weird individual, as many people could probably attest to. What did you think of it?
I would say it's probably one of the best movies I've seen in the last few years, without question. Tone was really, really skillfully balanced between, gripping tension and great laughs.
Yep.
The movie was funny throughout. Has a ton of heart. Really kind of chips away at what it is to be human or
Mm-hmm.
what have you. And yeah, it really feels like it's coming along at the right time, especially with all the Artemis 2 stuff happening. That I really hope it starts to get kids excited about space again. Maybe, I don't know. But I will show this to my kid because I think it was wholly appropriate for him. There was nothing but a couple shits in there that I recall.
Yeah, there
And
wasn't too much bad language in it.
yeah, it was. I could tell that they obviously did their homework too. As
Yep.
fantastical as it might be, it feels very grounded in a conceivable reality. Um, and it's the steps like that and the care like that that delivers a great product at the end. And I'm sure The Martian was just as well, researched into everything that went into that. Um, I would assume, as you've not interjected, that you think I'm wrong. You had a pretty similar takeaway.
No, I really enjoyed it. There were only a couple things that kind of took me out of it, and that was just kind of my putting on my, reading glasses and being like, wait a minute, this
Hmm.
doesn't actually make sense. But it's not that hard to suspend belief and be like, okay, it makes sense for the movie. Like when and who cares? Spoiler, if you don't want to hear anything about this movie, don't listen to the
Fast
next
forward the
10
next
minutes.
minute. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Uh, but when he first wakes up on the ship and he goes from not being able to do anything to being able to now talk, being able to now climb these ladders, run
Hmm.
away, like if someone's in a coma for, I think it was like 3 or 4 years, he was in that coma.
Oh,
Like
yes, he
you're
would have
not,
muscular atrophy. Yes, of
yes,
course.
like,
But we can just
but
write that away with
yes,
that he was done something the robot did while he was asleep to keep
yeah,
his muscles good. It's
yeah.
fine.
Like I said, like it's very easy to take away from that, and
We have a
then
story to service here. You don't have to play
exactly.
Captain, actually.
I don't mind. It was that,
Yeah.
and then just the whole like, oh, Rocky's people don't understand what radiation is, and I'm like, wait a minute. If they figured out interstellar travel, there's no way that they would not know what radiation is. But again, it was like, okay, we can just hand wave it away as it's it's moving the story forward. It's fine. But otherwise, yeah, I thought it like I really can't say much more than what you had already said. It was a movie that had a lot of heart. It was genuinely funny. There wasn't really any just like really lowbrow attempts at laughter. I mean, there's probably a couple just very
There's some good
quick.
pratfall type
Yeah,
laughs in there that I
yeah,
enjoyed just as much, but there's some really strong dialogue.
yeah. The dialogue, especially the dialogue for a movie that 99% is
A man
just
talking to a rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for the first maybe 45 minutes, it's just a man talking to himself, more or less. Like it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you heard the stupid controversy over Andy Weir when the movie first came out, but
No, he's the
yeah.
author. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, the author of the book. Would you say that this movie told like a more or less like a not really heartwarming, but a story of how, the world can come together in crisis and, we can set aside our differences. We have, we need to figure out this problem to save Earth. Like that's essentially the takeaway, right? They didn't do it essentially, maybe all in the up and up, but the idea was Earth came together to try to save the Earth, right?
Shared common goals.
Yes.
Yes.
It's which could you see that as being like political? Like it's showing like you can put your politics aside to
Well,
fight for a
I
common
don't
good.
think I don't think that they were trying to present it as all the nations on Earth all of a sudden are singing "Kumbaya."
No, no,
Uh,
but they all work together. They all put
they
like side political
did,
differences, and you see these countries deciding that we need to figure out the Earth's going to be gone. But
yeah. So the premise is the sun is dying, and we don't have to go further into that. But
yeah,
the reason for the Project Hail Mary is to launch this mission to try and
figure
stop.
out.
Yeah, why is the sun dying? Similar premise to Sunshine. If you've never seen that's a great movie.
I have not.
That's by Danny Boyle from Train
Oh
Spotting.
yeah, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant movie. Great cast too, Cillian Murphy. But going back, so the sun is dying, and they launch this whole project basically to try and save what's left of the planet or what will be left. But she makes a point. The mission director makes a point of like saying what's going to happen very soon
Yeah.
if they don't figure something out, and it's basically that all societies will kill each other before we even run out of food, fighting over the resources, kind of thing.
So Andy Weird come out. So people were like, there were people that were watching the movie, seeing the movie, or rereading the books, and they're like, this is great commentary that can basically tell us, like we're all in this together,
Hmm.
essentially. Like we have our differences. Like we have one planet. We need to
Shared
set
rock.
things aside. Yes.
Yeah.
So someone had mentioned to Andy Weir, I don't know if it was an interview, I don't know what it was, but they basically had said that to him. Like, it's great that, in The Martian and Project Hail Mary, you show, different governments and people coming together, setting aside political differences, essentially, we need to work together. And he essentially came out and said, I have no politics or social commentary in any of my books, and if you read any of that into any of my books, then that's just on you. And it's like,
Well,
I don't know.
no,
It
I
just
can see where he's saying though, because I don't know that they're necessarily even showing that the world governments were all working together. I think that maybe the scientific communities of all the world governments were working together, just like they do on projects like the ISS and continued space missions, while their actual governments are doing whatever they're doing to each other.
But they
Um,
did. There was a line technically in the movie where someone asks one of the people in this project, what government do you work for?
hmm.
And they say all of them.
That was a good line. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
So I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't really matter to me too much,
I
but
mean,
it's just
it could
it's kind
be
of
compared
funny.
to like a
Like,
UN effort, though, you know?
yeah, it's just I don't know. It seems weird to. I don't know. I'm not going to get too much into it
We are in
because
an
I
extremely delicate, target rich environment. And if that poor author says the wrong thing that upsets the studio or box office receipts or anything else, he's in for a shit time, which probably ends in him getting death threats from one side or the other. So if
he
he just
probably is
says,
getting death threats because he's saying it's not political. There's no
well,
right
it just
answer.
leaves how you can't win in this internet society,
I
man.
mean, you can't win. Period. That's
But
kind
yeah,
of.
that's so I think that's maybe the move. He could probably say it in a much more delicate way, like, "Hey, I leave it to the reader to extrapolate meaning from the text. I'm not going to force feed you what I say it means." Having said that, I made no overt political, blah 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 blah.
I
But
mean,
I mean, there's concepts in this that I mean, you can't ignore. Yeah. And I think he's playing self-preservation if that's the case.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's dumb. I've read somewhere that because Project Hail Mary didn't originally do as well as The Martian for whatever reason, and I need to verify source. And you know what? I'm not even going to say it because if I haven't been able to verify it from a few different sources, I'm not going to put it out into the zeitgeist because that's just kind of
Yeah, I
playing
thought
the
it
game
was
with everything else.
I don't know any
But
numbers, but I thought it was crushing at the box
oh no,
office
the bar
until
absolutely.
Mario showed up.
Yeah, no, in the box office it was just when the book came out itself, it didn't do the numbers that The Martian
Oh,
did.
understood.
And there were I'm not like I said, I'm not going to get into it because I haven't been able to verify the claims, so I don't want to put words into someone's mouth and find out that it was some stupid smear campaign. Because unlike some people, and I'm not saying you, but unlike some people, I don't like to just toss rumors out there and be like, okay, let's just light this on fire and see what happens. Haha. But
Wyatt worships the devil and sacrifices animals every night outside. Oh, were you talking? That wasn't a rumor, right? No.
I don't think so. I mean, that's on my LinkedIn. That's my headline on my LinkedIn. What are you talking about? But moving along, I know we wanted to make this somewhat of a shorter episode, and we're recording a little bit later in the day than we usually do, which 100% my fault. I take full blame for that.
We
But
have real lives, my friend. No apologies necessary.
people don't need to know we have real lives. They need to think that we're just these artificially generated polygons that are.
Well, if you can get your employer on board with that, I say go for it.
Yeah, I wish. Uh, Speaking of my employer, this popped up right before we started recording. I sent you a photo that I got a message from our mail person at work. I work from home. I work out
Yeah.
of Boston, so I'm never actually in my office. And there was a package that came from me, and I had our help desk person go pick it up. And I said, "You can go ahead and open it if it has my name on it," because I'm like, I have no idea what it is, and like whatever. And there was a note, a postcard in there from some random I work in IT, so some IT security firm that said, Wyatt, I saw that you review games at such company, and I'd be able to. They sent me, but yeah, so the person sent me a headset stand for whatever reason. So next time I'm actually in the office, which probably won't be for a few months, I will have a cool, I guess, off-brand headset stand from an IT security firm.
There's
So
nothing I
hey,
love more than a mystery package. I mean,
yeah,
if the Unabomber really got one thing right, it's that everybody loves to get a package.
it's
And
true.
and when something just randomly shows up from like a vendor or something for review for the website and I don't know what it is, I'm not going to even lie. It just fills my, boring life with glee for that small moment where I get to open the box and find out what it is.
And
And,
interaction, you're even
the
more excited.
Unabomber understood that appeal. And, but yeah, I totally understand that that's, well, I told you we had to pause so I could go grab a package right before this
Yeah.
because I wanted to open a box.
I think you told me what it was, and I totally forgot. So,
Oh,
me.
is I had a bunch of money that I
Oh,
credit
yeah,
on the
I remember
Google
now.
store that I had to spend. So yeah, there's like nothing that I wanted to spend. I have two TV boxes. I'm not really even sure what I'm gonna do with, and two new phone cases for $40 a piece. I'm glad it was spent in Google bucks because this piece of molded plastic is apparently retails for $40.
That's uh, it's so overpriced. It's so stupid.
Oh, it's. I mean, I took my old case off, and it's like, oh, this clear piece of molded plastic was $6
Yep.
on Amazon, but this is the official Google Store one from Casemate. It's
So you know it's
exactly
great.
the same. It's exactly the same. I
So
believe we may be coming into assignment stuff. Where are we?
since I said we talk about it, we don't need to really get into it, but I at least want to mention them.
Sure.
So we told everyone last week we're going to the Golden State Pinball Festival,
Oh yeah,
which we still
coming
are.
up,
It's going
man.
to be awesome. Yep, seeing all
Like,
our buddies hanging out for the weekend, just eating
really,
food,
like
playing pinball.
30 days away, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Last Friday, I told the gang, all 5 or so of us, that signups for the tournament were going to be Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and to make sure that you sign up. And guess who didn't sign up?
Any of us?
All of us.
Yeah.
So, which, it's fine. I know you were a little more irked at it than I was because I'm fine. Like, I don't know. I kind of burned myself out on tournaments after I had a very bad placing in one. And so, I mean, I'm okay with doing them now, but I'm not really bummed out that I'm
You
not going to be able to
played
play
in
in
that
it.
tournament like you were 2 minutes into like getting into pinball. I feel
I
like when you
had
went and did that.
I had 4 months in.
Okay,
If you're
but
not good at
still,
something in 4 months, you're never going to
you
be.
can. I mean, you're always your own harshest Wyatt critic, but
Exactly.
no, that was like a major event with, and you drew, I think, the top seed in the first round or something
fine.
crazy like that.
It's fine. But anyway, yeah, so we kind of both screwed the pooch on that one, and will not be playing in tournaments, which I think they're going to be doing little, kind of like they had at Really Red Weekends, little mini challenges or
I
whatever.
love things like that, and if we could do like a relay race again, that would be
Yeah,
so much fun.
I'm
That
all
was
about
such
that.
a
That
good
was a
time.
lot of fun. I
Yeah.
talked to Jeremy over at the Pinball Club about that and how that would be a really fun thing to do, maybe either during a tournament day with people that are out or just, I don't know, just a quick thing to do. Like, it was a lot of fun, the little gauntlet we ran.
Yeah, and I think I've heard tell of the past that they've done pinball Olympics there in the past, and pinball golf, which I've never done. All sorts of
We've
fun things that I'd love to just happen upon, with you guys versus sitting by the phone waiting
match
for my
play.
name to say report to building 1 for match play at this time. Yeah, that would be hanging over me. So I'm a little relieved in a sense.
Pin golf's a lot of fun if you haven't played that before.
No, never.
Yeah, it's. Do you know what it is?
Vaguely, and I'll let you
Okay.
explain.
Yeah, so the idea behind pin golf is let's say you have 9 machines, just like you're playing 9 holes of golf. You could also have, if you have 18 machines, you could play 18 holes of golf. But the idea is there is a score set for each one of the holes. And everyone is technically a par 4. So if you get your first ball and you hit your target score in your first ball, you get a hole in one on that hole. You get it in your second ball, you get 2 strokes. You get it on your third ball, you get 3 strokes. If you don't hit the target score, you get a 4. And
Got
then
it.
so you can either play by yourself, or obviously you play separately with everyone else, and then you tally up your scores at the end, and whoever has the lowest score wins. It's a pretty beginner friendly way to get into like the tournament idea. I really enjoy that format because you really are just playing yourself. You
Yeah, and you
generally are
could
just
probably
playing
do it
one player
on
games.
kind of your own timetable too, I
Yeah.
would imagine. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we've
That's
done
cool.
it at the club. I know they did a couple pin golf seasons, and it needed to be done within like certain number of days, but also like you needed to have an official there to obviously verify that you scored what you scored.
Hmm.
So it didn't have to necessarily be that night. You could make it up on Wednesday as long as one of your officials are there. But it's a fun, different way to play
Yeah, I
pinball.
mean, any event generally has at least a volunteer or two where, regardless of what type of tournament or match play or whatever you're playing,
Yeah.
you have to have somebody there. So when your game's over, you raise your hand so they can come around and verify and record your score. Yeah.
Yep.
I hate to say it, but the honor system would not go very far in the pinball world from my experience.
Yeah. My experience in almost all recreation sports is the honor system can never work
Yeah,
because there are just
unfortunately.
enough people that take sports that don't matter and have to cheat still.
Eat a dick!
Exactly. Very quickly, and then I'm thinking we can give you a bathroom break and we can hop into the end
No,
of
I,
it.
I think I'm cool this week. I don't know.
Holy crap. All right. So, very quickly, and maybe we can talk about it a little more next week. I don't have a whole lot to say aside from I think it's stupid. Limited Run, a company that I don't really care for. I don't enjoy their business model or the way that they put out products usually. I think they, I enjoyed them, I think, at the beginning. And I think it's just another case of a company losing its way, but you could correct me if you feel differently.
I don't know the whole
But
story. I know one of the dudes seemed like he was a real hanger-on from the guy who started it and really had no business whatsoever being in a business that grew to what it was. I know he's no longer involved. Yeah, I just don't dig the way they do business, the way they do releases, the way they do pre-sale. I don't, it's an oddly run company. Always has been. They started it like financing it with credit cards and stuff
yep,
versus business loans.
yep.
I mean, I think they got lucky.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But so the idea behind Limited Run, if you don't know, is they essentially they either re-release games that have come out and they put them out for modern systems, or they will give physical releases to games that generally were digital only games.
Yeah, that
To
weren't going to get a physical shelf
Yeah,
release. Yeah.
yep. They acquire the license or whatever. They put out a limited number of games, hence the title Limited Run, and you can go ahead and purchase that. They've had some decent games that they've put out, and now I don't know with this one, and there was another recent one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but who the hell is clamoring for a Switch, PS5, or PC version of the NES game Jaws? Who was asking for that?
Absolutely no one. Who was asking for the NES game Jaws? I mean, at the time, awesome media property, one of my favorite movies of all time, but the game does suck.
It's not
I,
good. I have like 3 copies because I got them in lots and I'm stupid and don't sell stuff. So
No,
I've
but it's
played the
it's
game.
I said it to you. It's for whatever reason it's right up there with Top Gun and Silent
Yeah,
Service in the cartridge that comes in every NES slot.
yeah, because everyone
Everybody
had
bought
them.
it because it was Jaws.
Yep.
I don't know who's beating down the door for NES Jaws at this point. Like, can you say that? Well, we got to cash in on the Stern hype because they just put out a table last year or
Yeah,
something.
that's the other thing. Like that would have made somewhat sense to me is if they would have released it at the same time as either the Jaws re-release or the first time that the Jaws pinball machine came out. Still think it would stupid, but at least there would make some sense to it. But why is this? And it's sold out. I told you before we started recording. There's a $99 super version with a bunch of collectibles in it, and then I think there's either $35 or $40 version that's just the game, and they're all
Yeah,
sold out.
I don't want to talk out of school here, but I've always gotten the impression that the limited nature of the run was about as limited as they wanted it to be
Yes,
based on
100%.
sales.
Yes.
Um, so that whole thing is bullshit. But I mean, it's just you're just going into a larger conversation about hustle culture and everything has to be an investment for flipping and speculation now. I refuse to believe that there's that many people that give a shit about NES Jaws. Maybe I'm totally wrong that they want to spend $100 on a game they could emulate on anything. But no, I think it's just speculation and artificial scarcity created out of nowhere for demand that didn't exist. And but by saying we're only going to make so many of them and it could be worth money one day, don't want to miss out. Uh, that's what they do. And a lot of retail sales is based around you know, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone.
Yep.
You know,
Scarcity.
creating urgency along with scarcity. Anybody that's browsed AliExpress for more than 5 minutes, or I'm sure Temu does the exact type of stuff, you know. Hurry, hurry, hurry. If you don't get it, they're going to be gone.
Yep. This is in 77 people's carts right now.
Yeah, I love that one. So I mean, they can release whatever they want. It's just an odd distribution deal to go after. There's no anniversary or anything that I'm missing out on?
I think it's like the 38th or like. I don't think it's a 5 or a 0.
Right.
Let's see. Jaws movie came out in 75, so that's 41. Jaws NES game came out in 87, so it's 29 or 39 years there. So there's no. I don't know. So why don't they should have at least waited until next year? Make it the 40th anniversary re-release of the NES game.
Yeah, just from a gameplay perspective, that game is wholly confusing as to what you're even supposed to do. Especially when you were a kid.
If you're wondering, apparently last month, because I just Googled this, John Riggs did a review on the NES Jaws, and he says it's super fun on Nintendo Switch, which is really weird because it wasn't fun on NES, so it's cool that they made it fun on Switch now. Anyway, did you want to do our Chump of the Week this week, or are you not feeling super strongly about it? Because, you know, we don't want to force them if we don't have to, but...
Oh, no, I'm quite happy to give that over to Limited Run. Yeah, there's no real reason to do this, and I don't understand it, but, you know, you guys like money, so whatever.
And you are my Chump of the Week.
Chump.
Nicholas?
Yes, Mr. Wyatt.
How would you feel if we did a segment that everybody loves?
Would it be this one?
I didn't know how you were going to get that, but you did. I'm impressed.
I picked up what you were putting down.
Yeah. We can start with me. You gave me some documentary about Corey Feldman that I cannot even remember the name of right now.
2025 documentary Corey Feldman versus the World, documenting the tour and musical journey of Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I'm going to be straight up with you. I have not watched it yet. I have not started it yet. I promise you I will have it watched for next week, but I just did not have it in me to watch that for whatever reason.
It's a bit of a to-do. I may have shared with you that I had some trouble getting through it because it's difficult to watch.
Yeah, you didn't really sell it to me.
It's difficult to watch someone that's a grown adult act in this way.
Yeah.
I believe you brought it up and compared it to David Arquette because you assigned me his documentary.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I like David Arquette as a person better. You go to the race not hoping for a crash, but it's pretty cool that you're in the stands when it happens. I don't know what better way to say it. Yeah,
it's the Jerry Springer idea where
it's not even that, because even as a kid I couldn't watch that shit. It's not strictly exploitative because it's him putting this out into the world. Yeah, I don't want you to watch it because I think it's great and need you to understand the true story behind it. I want you to watch it so we can talk about how whacked out it is on this show.
I will definitely watch it this week. I can't even lie and say that I had a bunch of stuff going on. I just couldn't get myself to be like, you know what? I'm going to spend an hour and a half and watch this.
I used to masturbate constantly.
We know what you
exactly.
But you did give me a movie, which I did watch.
Yes, you were good. But you know what? To be fair, how many times have I assigned you homework and you didn't you weren't able to pull it off and we gave you a second week? It happens. We have real lives.
Oh, yeah, at least twice. Yeah, at least two or three times. Yeah.
I will just do double homework this week to catch up. But yeah, what did I assign you?
You assigned me, because we cannot get off the subject of baseball.
And we never will.
2016 documentary entitled Fastball.
Yes.
And I don't want anybody to work too hard on what this is about. It's right there in the title.
It's about knuckleballs.
The game is played in the blink of an eye, and with Kevin Costner narrating, lead a cast of baseball legends and scientists who explore the magic within the 396 milliseconds it takes a fastball to reach home plate and decipher who threw the fastest pitch ever.
Sounds great.
So it was pretty interesting. I don't know that I needed to go quite as far as it goes, but one of the neatest parts was basically the movie compares different figures from throughout history in baseball, and discussing who may have, had the strongest arm or thrown the fastest fastball of all time. Because it wasn't until the late 70s that we had radar for measuring pitches.
Yep.
And Nolan Ryan was actually the first guy to ever have his pitch measured by radar. And it goes into all these historical figures and ways that they had tried to test the fastball that weren't necessarily going to line up with modern evaluations. So when a modern pitcher throws his fastball, there is a radar measurement that's done 50 feet, I think, from home plate.
Yep.
With the pitcher being, 66 and a sixth?
Yep. 66. Oh, God. 60
Whatever
feet, 6 inches.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that measurement is taken at 50 feet from the home plate. So you're basically talking the ball at its max velocity coming off the pitcher's hand. And by using that formula, they took previous measurements from throughout history and adjusted them because previous measurements had basically taken the reading at the batter box, which the ball's probably lost a fairly significant amount of velocity by that point. So they actually adjust it and try and discuss who actually threw the hardest of all time. And spoiler alert, I think we arrived at what I thought going into it. It's Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Which, no shocker there. Unbelievably prolific career over, 25 plus years. What was interesting is it went super deep into a guy named Steve Delkowski.
Yes.
Who was a prospect for the Orioles in the early 60s. And
Did you
he
know about him
actually
before?
shows up in the movie. I had never heard of this man before.
That's the reason why I wanted you to actually watch this, is because I was curious. I remember
the
seeing
fun little
him
Orioles connection.
Yeah.
So apparently this guy had really struggled in double and triple A ball and had come up into the Orioles organization under Earl Weaver, who was the first coach that actually but was successfully able to settle him down a little bit and work on his accuracy. Because the whole story was that with this guy was he threw harder than anybody had ever thrown the ball before, but he also walked as many batters as he struck out, sometimes even more. So it was kind of insane to look at his stats. And tragic story, I think it was his first start in the MLB. His elbow finally went pop just as he was getting started with the Orioles. So he never got the chance to really play in the big leagues. But a bunch of the old timers are saying that's the guy that threw harder than anyone of all time. But it's an interesting point, because what's that worth if you can't throw it in the strike zone?
Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. If you can't,
you don't have control, you really don't have anything.
Yeah. Look at Greg Maddux, guy that could barely break a pane of glass, but that guy could paint like nothing.
Yep. Exactly. And that kind of goes back to our electrician friend in the World Baseball Classic as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it just compares a bunch of various pitchers from throughout history, some big names that you'd expect. If I did have a complaint about it, it seemed to focus around the guys that they got in the chair a little more. So they have Nolan Ryan being interviewed in this, and there's obviously no questioning Nolan Ryan's, contribution to baseball or his legendary career. But I think, Randy Johnson, in the discussion about who's the fastest of all time and the best and all this stuff, they bring up, him for about 5 seconds in the whole movie, and they're like, yep, he's one of the best of all time. All right, now moving on in this evaluation, it's like, well, come on, guys, you got to, give him a fair shake too. considering his career was almost as long, throwing 100 plus as Nolan Ryan's. But they didn't have him in the chair. He didn't want to do the doc, so let's just make half the movie about Nolan Ryan. Having said that, I enjoyed every bit of it, and actually forgot that his career was as long as it actually was. I
Yeah,
mean,
he played for a long time.
it was, for me, it was going back as far as it
Yeah.
did. He pitched against
1966.
He pitched against Hank Aaron,
Yep.
and I saw him pitch as a kid. That's
Yep.
insane.
Yeah, 1966 to 1993.
So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. If you're interested in the minutia of baseball and kind of like the more finer points of what went into all this stuff, and there's a lot of like, let's clear up the air that baseball nerds have been arguing with each other for God knows how long, and the stories about this guy's speed or that guy's speed only get bigger as the decades go by. So it's really interesting. It's almost like a episode of Baseball Mythbusters or something, the way they finally break down all the pitch speeds.
Yeah, that's what I really enjoyed, is just seeing the different ways, like seeing back in, the 1920s or 1930s when they were measuring speed, and seeing how they were doing that, and just seeing all the different ways that it has progressed to the
Oh, what was
modern
it in
radar we have
in
today.
yeah, it was in like the 40s. They actually had a cop on a motorcycle
Yeah.
drive past a pitcher and hitter
Yep.
at 80 miles an hour according to the motorcycle speedometer.
Yep.
And then like the pitcher threw it, and when it crossed through this piece of paper behind the batter, that would mean the ball
It
was
was
traveling.
so weird.
It was like, this is the least scientific shit I could possibly imagine as a way to do
So
this.
awesome, though.
But that's what they did.
Oh God, I love. Yeah, it was just seeing the way they did all that stuff. I said I was gonna watch it again when you watched it, but clearly I let this entire week get away from me, so I didn't even do that. So I'll probably watch it again at some point soon, because I don't know. I really enjoyed, like I said, the scientific breakdowns of how the heck they even did this stuff.
Yeah, it was.
And like,
I tell you what, it was a great movie to put on. Like, I was watching afternoon baseball, and I think the Orioles, were getting into later innings, and I'm like, all right, they got this one wrapped up. But I still want some baseball in my life, so you know what? I'm going to throw this on, and it was the perfect kind of Sunday afternoon compliment.
Yep. So, yeah, I guess we already talked about me. We talked about you. Would you recommend people watch this?
For sure. I mean, I wouldn't put it anywhere near Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Well, no, that's
or
like
just
the
a bit
best
outside.
baseball documentary.
Yeah, it's not even in the same league as those movies. But if you like getting into more of the finer points of stuff, and there's plenty to be interested in here, and there's some great interviews as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Let's get into our assignments.
So this week we're gonna do something that we've talked about for a long time, but for real.
Oh, we're gonna get married. You're gonna leave your wife, and we're gonna go run off.
That wasn't supposed to be talked about on air. We were going to
Oh,
talk
you
about
can cut this.
at the event
You can
next
cut
month,
it.
Wyatt, but
You
edit
cut
it.
this.
Ah!
Stuffalophagus.
Yeah,
Stuffalophagus.
No, we're always saying, hey, maybe I'll play that with you, and we can play a little online. And we go, yeah, that would be great. We never do.
Yeah.
But friend of the show from CU Podcasts and Ian, Mr. Ian Ferguson, and I have been playing Marathon for the last couple of weeks. If you're not familiar with Marathon, it is the new first-person shooter from Bungie of Destiny and Halo fame. And Marathon is a brutally, I wouldn't say difficult necessarily, but unforgiving extraction shooter.
All right.
So basically, you team up in teams of 3. There were duos, but that's gone for now and coming back later. And kind of like Helldivers, you just kind of deploy down to a planet, and then you have to try and knock contracts or missions off while you're down there before it's time to exfiltrate, and filling your guy with as much loot as possible during that time. But on the planet surface, there are not only game enemies, but other teams and people hunting both you and all the other objectives. So it
Okay,
makes
so there
for...
are some CPU players in
Yeah,
addition
so
to
I guess this is
players? VP.
PvEVP. Yeah, is that
Yep.
how that works?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, there are like these robotic marine guys that are guarding most of the buildings where you have objectives and things like that. And so you have to take them out, but you might end up in a firefight with them. And because you did that, the guy across the map hears that firefight and kind of like moseys on over to the hill and decides to snipe you while you're, taking care of the robots. It's a lot of that sort of thing. And you should not expect other humans to approach you in a friendly manner. Basically, everybody's out to take you out and screw you over as quickly as possible before they get out with all your stuff. So it creates a pretty frantic gameplay loop that somehow, even though we end up dying most of the time, I want back in immediately.
That's the sign of a good game.
Yeah, I think
Is that you don't get frustrated. Instead, you just go, you know what? Let's do it again.
Yep. And so Ian and I have been playing, and he's kind of said to me that, well, we had both discussed that we need a third. So we're bringing you in.
Yeah, you guys both bought me a copy of this game, which was very kind of you. So I think it's only fair that I actually use it and we get to play.
This
So that's
will
my assignment.
be the week where, at some point, hopefully, we're able to schedule in you and I playing a game online together.
If we could do it tomorrow night, that would be perfect.
I'm around, man. I'm
All
around.
right. Perfect. Yeah, we'll talk to Ian. So I'm gonna make this easy. Let's have an easy week for both of us. I'm gonna make your assignment to make sure that I play a game with you this week.
I like it. I'll take it.
Excellent!
All right, everybody. I think we ran a little bit longer than we wanted to, but I'm sure you do not mind, as we also do not mind. But if you enjoyed listening, as we always hope you do, please, subscribe if you haven't. Leave us a review if you haven't. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your pets. Every set of ears is a new friend. So anything you want to say before we go, Nick?
We don't have it yet.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, guys.